This is an example of LR0 and SLR1 parsing. Using this grammar here, we can see that S goes to E goes to E plus T or T goes to ID or open parenthesis E close parenthesis. First thing we'll need to do to create our node I0 is to add the state S prime goes to S dot, or dot S. And the next thing we will do is create every original rule with a dot in front. That will create our node I0. Now, seeing an S will lead us to our node I1, where S prime will now go to S dot. This rule is finalized, so nothing will be coming out of it. Now, seeing an E, we will go to S goes to E dot. That rule is finalized. But we'll also see E goes to E dot plus T. This rule is not finalized, so there will be more included. Okay, the next symbol that we will see will be a T, and that will lead us to the next rule. E goes to T dot. That rule is finalized. That will be our finalized I3. The next node that the next symbol we can see is ID. That will lead us to node I4, where our T goes to ID dot, and that node is finalized. And the last symbol that we can see coming from I0 would be an open parenthesis, and this will create the rule T goes to open parenthesis dot E close parenthesis. Now, because there is a dot in front of the E, we will need to include the rules of E from node I0. And those are included here. And because there is a dot T, we will also need to include the rules for T from node I0. And those are included here. So now, next coming back down the line, we have node I2, and we're seeing a plus symbol. Seeing a plus symbol will lead us to E goes to E plus dot T. Because there's a dot T, we'll have to include the nodes, or the rules from I0 for T. And as you can see, those are contained here. Now, the next node that's not finalized is node I5. Coming from I5, we can see an E. This will create node I7. T goes to open parenthesis E dot close parenthesis, as well as E goes to E dot plus T. Now we can also see a T coming from node I5, and this will iterate and create E goes to T dot, which is our node I3. And we can also see an ID, which will go to T ID dot, which is our node I4. And then we can also see a open parenthesis, which will lead us back to the node I5 containing all of these same rules. So our next node here would be I6, and coming out of I6 we can see a T, and that will create our node I8, and that will be E goes to E plus T dot, and this is finalized node. And we can also see an ID, and this will come back to node I4. We can also see an open parenthesis, and this will come all the way back to node I5. Now, from node I7, we can see a close parenthesis, and this will create node I9 for rule T going to open parenthesis E close parenthesis dot. And that is the final rule. Starting from node I0, we can see that there is an S coming out of it leading to node I1. There's also an E coming out of it leading to node I2. There's also a T coming out of it leading to node I3. And there's an ID symbol coming out of it going to node I4. And there's an open parenthesis leading to node I5. Going to node I1, we can see that there is a finalized rule, and so we'll need to check the follow set of S prime. The follow set of S prime is $. So then under node 1, under $, we will see this except. This is because this is the special state of starting. Now going to node I2, we can see that there is another rule that is finalized. So we'll have to look at the follow set of S. This rule will be included under node I2 for those symbols, and that is just for the dollar sign. Now coming out of node I2, we also see a plus leading to node I6. Going down to node I3, we see that a rule is finalized. So looking at the follow set for E, this rule will be included at each of those symbols. Going down to node I4, we can see that this rule is also finalized. And so we'll have to look at the follow set of T. And under node I4, this rule will be included under each of those symbols. Going down to I5, we can see that no rule has finalized. So we can see that an E coming out of it, going to node I8.
The library will be closing in 30 minutes. All library computers will shut down automatically 5 minutes before closing. Please save your work beforehand. There are no extended hours this evening.
There is also a T coming out of node I5, and that is leading back to node I3. And then there's also an ID coming out of node I5, leading back to node I4. And then there is an open parenthesis leading I5 back to I5. Going down to I6, we can see that no rule is finalized, but a T coming out of it leads to I8. An ID coming out of it leads to I4, and an open parenthesis out of it leads to I5. Going down to I8, to I7 here, we can see that no rule is finalized, but on a closed parenthesis, we go to I9, and on the plus, we go to I6. And now we're finished with this one, and now going to I8, you can see a rule has finalized, and so we'll have to look at the follow set for E, and for under I8, this rule will be included for each of those symbols. Now going to I9, we can see that another rule is finalized, and so for the follow set of T, this rule will be included for each of those symbols. Now the action table has been finalized, and we can use it to parse. Now using the action table to create the parse table here, we will start with the 0 on the stack. This is the string that we are going to parse with a dollar sign following it. So the first thing we'll look at is our state 0 and our first symbol here, which is ID. And we can see on the action table that there is a shift to state 4. And to do that, we will shift ID over, and we'll put state 4 on the stack. And now, as you can see on the input, the ID has been removed. And the next step now is to go from state 4 and look at the plus. And we can see that there is a rule, T goes to ID. Well, since we're going to be replacing ID and the state in front of it, we will put the T down here. We will need to figure out which state now to utilize T with. So what we do is we go state 0, and then we look at T. And if we look at state 0 and T, we can see that it leads us to state 3. So now, at state 3 and plus, we can look at the table, and there's another rule saying that E goes to T. So we can go ahead and write the E down here, and we will need to, since we have now removed this state, we will need to know what state to correlate with the E. We will do this by looking at the 0 again and the E, and that will lead us to state 2. Now, we'll look at state 2 and the plus symbol. The action there is to shift to state 6. Shifting to state 6, we'll shift the plus over and put a 6 on the stack. So now we're looking at state 6 and ID. The action table shows shift to state 4. Shifting ID over and adding state 4 onto the stack. Now we only have $sign on our input. looking at state 4 and $, we can see another rule, t goes to ID. Now, we can put the t down, and we've removed the 4, so we need to know what state to correlate t with. Looking at state 6 here, we go to t, and we see that it leads us to state 8. Now looking at state 8 and $, we can see the next rule, which is e goes to e plus t. Using this rule to eliminate the following string, we can put e in place, and we'll also need to know what state now correlates with e. The state correlating with e, we would find by looking at state 0 and e. We will find that we shift to state 2. So now at state 2, we look at $, and s goes to e. So we'll now replace this with this e with an s. Now we'll need to know what state to correlate with that. So we'll look at state 0 and s, and that leads us to state 1. And state 1 and $, is our special state, the accept state. We have completed parsing.